Matey. How are you doing on the fine seven seas? We go plunder for some gold today. But the golden question is my dream log. Part 4. Ba-dam-dam-dam-dam. Shut up. Editing Tubasa here. It's part 5, not part 4. Liminal, high five. Alright, let's get back to the video. Hello everyone and welcome back. It is Tubasa back with another dream log. This one is part 4. Alright, I'm gonna need you to stop right there. It's part 5. Okay. Resume. When going through my dream log, this time, about every single dream that I read so far off the list, I had remembered and recognized at least some part of the dream, except for maybe the first 2. But with that being said, let's get right into it. This first dream has a definition, because I need to explain a little bit about what the collision detection dimension is. It is a all black with white outlines type of space that can change textures, and there's no dying unless if it's by your own hands. And time feels different in which you age slower. And the dream goes as follows. My brothers get transported to the collision detection dimension, and I save them. My dad and I get transported by colliding with the ground off of a trip. My dad wants to look around and stay there while I want to leave. My dad later commits suicide, and I grab his body to get him out when I call my brothers to get us out. The land that we've come across has a helicopter pad by a waterfall and a tomb next to the house. And personally, I don't remember any specific piece of that memory. The next one goes as follows. Running from a team of people, and I take a zip line up to a glider and then glide from Washington to Russia, where I try to blend in with the other school students. I then try to get out of a prison-like yard and then die, only to respawn and do all the same things again except land outside of the school zone, where I go down a different road. I think I remember a little bit of what this one was, more so escaping the castle. It was a very vertical mountain range, I suppose, and I had crawled through the castle was a prison, and I crawled through this little hole that was in the side of a wall, and then I had made my way down the mountain safely. The next line says, dying as Batman in the water of a shallow lake outside a castle when my mother comes and saves me. Now, the way I would describe this entire environment, because I only remember the scene itself, I don't remember anything else around it, but I remember my environment within that small, short span of time. And so I was in a Batman costume, floating there in shallow water. It was probably not even if I had to give a reference to how deep it was, feet cam, it'd probably be up to right here. So probably about a foot or so of water. So trying to, dying or drowning in that kind of water is, almost purposeful unless you're unconscious. But when you wake up, to my right side was the castle, and it was, keep in mind, this is all in Minecraft texture pack mode for some reason, so it's a giant cobblestone wall, basically. The entire floor that the shallow water was in was just sand, and then off to the side was, grass. It was the old Minecraft textures, by the way, so really green grass, really old textured cobblestone. But it was raining, and I just felt my mother pick me up and mourn over the fact that I had died. And I don't know why I was wearing a Batman costume. I don't have a Batman skin in Minecraft. My skin in Minecraft is actually Jalal from Fairy Tail. W, if you know what Fairy Tail is and you know who Jalal is. He's peak. He's the best character in my opinion. And the coolest. But that dream was so wild. I literally could almost recreate. I could probably go recreate it in Minecraft. I'm not gonna lie. I could probably recreate it. All right. This next one is a single sentence, and it says dodging bullets in the woods on a train track from an evil organization. And so I want you to imagine, this is my imaginative space. There's a train track that's coming down this way. On each side, there's like a line of some trees. Now, they're not really tall trees or thick trees. They're kind of more of, shorter trees, shrubbery, if you will. And in between, the spaces that go on forever almost are just like wild grasslands or tall grass and other shrubs. But anyway, I'm standing on this train track and I'm like, oh shoot, they're coming for me. And then this black van just like rolls up because these train tracks are like at an intersection. And so a car pulls up and some people in black suits start walking out. They got sunglasses over there and they're like, put your hands up. And I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. And they start shooting and I'm just like Nero and I'm just like dodging all the bullets. Now I'm not like bending down backwards. I think they just have stormtrooper aim. They were terrible. And I woke up probably out of pure just like anxiety, just being like, I don't want to die like this. This is stupid. All right, next dream says, showing a rival my lane with a red watered sea and a concrete pillar with a temple at the end. We then work together and fight off the infection. I cross the sea using a tree folk. Yeah, so this dream was wild. I freaking love how otherworldly this dream was. So this is what you need to imagine, right here where my mic is. There's this kind of pathway that kind of zigzags up to a top plateau area, and this path is like, it's lush. It's got some greenness to it. The path is already beaten down, like people have walked over it multiple times. And I'm on this tree folk, and you could think about it kind of like Lord of the Rings. If you've seen the tree folk in Lord of the Rings, they're kind of like that. And I'm riding on one of them. And when we get to the top, then there's this giant like concrete, separator, I guess, that separates the bounds from this new place from where I was coming from. And this entire place was filled with just red water. I'm not too sure if it was anything specific. It was just really red water, and I think it had to do with the lighting. Like the sun was blazing red. It was like a blood moon or something. The blood moon strikes again, Link. Shut up, Zelda! Anyway. So, on our way there, there's like these giant white pillars that are sticking out of the ground as well. Like super liminal, almost, I would argue. / vaporwave. And we get to this giant building. And we see it off in the distance, which is why we're going there. There's this giant black pyramid in the middle of this Red Sea that has already emerged. And the tree folk, waddles his way over there with me on top of him. And we get inside, and it's like super clean, super white panels and everything. And when we get inside, there's like this giant intro room, which doesn't have like anything in it. So we just take a right, or at least I take a right, because I'm trying to open up this safe. And I believe this safe is to, beat my opponent or whoever it was from obtaining this red crystal. I believe it was a red crystal from what I can remember. Anyhow, I grab it and I waddle my way back. And during this time of waddling back, turns out there's this infection that broke out. And so then me and my rival have to work together and using this crystal that we got that has like a lot of power and energy, and we have to use it to defend off this infection that is spreading across the Red Sea. Another dream that came along with this, I think this was after the previous one I mentioned. This one, I thank God I do remember it. This one's also a single sentence, but it says a burnt victim with half of her right arm and getting injected to death by morphine by a doctor. Oh my gosh, this one traumatized me. And I don't know why my brain thought of it, but it was just this woman who was burnt. And she was burnt to, to still be recognizable, but the blisters were just growing on her body at an abnormal rate. And it was terrible. You could see her in so much pain. And this doctor just started to inject morphine into her, and I just saw in fear as I, slowly watched her die. And it was a terrible sight, and it was something so frightening, because you have to think about the moral implication of doing that. Someone's in so much pain, they're burnt, they lost their one of their limbs. But why would the doctor? I think the doctor was evil in this dream, because I don't think ethically you should, kill someone off like that. If they can still live, breathe, die, they're still screaming, like their skin isn't that bad. It's not maybe recoverable, but they're still living. Do you end their suffering quickly, or do you try and spend the time and resources and money to keep this person alive? And it was just sad and scary to see her slowly die in front of my eyes. Oh, it was not good. I can't get it out of my head now. All right, and this is the last dream because it is the longest thing that I wrote out of all the other ones. So, it was a boys versus girls type of deal with two houses, which originally went to, but then came together. So what I'm trying to say is there were originally two houses that were separated, but now they're like joint together, it appears. I was a higher up along with a girl friend, not a girlfriend, but a friend who was a girl, and a guy friend. I was cunning and quick to notice how the house was becoming more like a corrupt class system. I was the only one that wanted to do something about it, along with my guy friend and my advisor. The girl, who I apparently gave the name of Sophie, spelled Soaphy, and Sophie and I were close friends. Sophie killed another higher up to set an example, and she killed this person with a gun, which isn't usually used in the house. In parentheses, I put climax/turning point for me to do something. Meanwhile, keep in mind, I don't know why I add the setting later, but this is all in a Gangs of New York, Dead Rabbits-like area. So if you've seen Gangs of New York, you kind of have a better idea of what this space looks like. The setting has a large mansion with another one in the distance. There's a beach out from the backyard. There were underground bunkers and labs. Why did we originally fight? What brought us together? What made it corrupt? How will it be stopped before more lives are at risk? Maybe start with, I am someone who fosters life and supports those around me, so it should seem hypocritical that I've killed people in order to obtain people's freedom of life. So it looks like I wanted to make this a book of some sort, or some starter, but I didn't do anything with it. However, I hope for those of you who are writers that this maybe have intrigued your juices as to, how is it that, society has changed so much that you can't remember the original reasons in which certain things happen. Kind of like trying to answer the paradox in which you swap everything out with, swap every piece out on a ship and it becomes almost like a new ship. Is it really a new ship, or is it the old ship because it still has the same pieces and everything? However, by refurbishing it in a way in which you're just replacing the piece with a newer one, is it still that old ship? How did we get to this point? We don't know the reasons why what ended up making it change. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's dream log. If you want to see more stuff like this, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We passed 300 subs. I said that a while ago, and I'm still going to say it because I'm happy that all of you guys are here. And I only hope that you guys bring more people along to join in discussion and talk and have fun. It's kind of why I'm making this, and also to log my life in a way. We'll see how this goes. So, peace.